Ellen White Reconsidered, a series of presentations for people who have questions about Ellen White and her writings. Today's message is a selection from another video. It's entitled Conversion Through Literary Ministry. Welcome. Glad you could be here today. I just have a short clip that I wanted to share with you. I've been interested in an interview, a little discussion between Mike Colburn and a past professor of mine, Dr. Jerry Gladson. I want to say a few good words about Dr. Gladson. I had him for Old Testament and Hebrew, and I learned a great deal learning under him. He was very soft-spoken. He had a very lovely Sabbath school that he would lead out in and brought in insights from the Hebrew in his class, and had a very lovely time with students there. There were some points of difference that he had, and he was, at the time that I was there, under contract not to be able to share any of those ideas, so I never was able to talk to him about his positions at that time while he was my teacher. But I did read some of his story after he wrote it out in his book, and I have empathy for him. I recognize the influences that he acknowledged and that shaped his way of thinking. And some of that, I suppose, I could have seen in the class that we took on Old Testament. He encouraged us to look both at the conservative interpreters of the Old Testament and also the critical scholars of the Old Testament. And I suppose there are some advantages to looking at things literarily, and so there is some advantage even under the critical scholarship. But I think that a faithful follower of God's Word does not need to dissect the Word to be able to use insights from its literary background. I certainly use literary analysis as I am working with Ellen White's materials today. So it does not diminish my respect for her writings to actually look at how that it was put together. In fact, we get some beautiful insights about how it was done. I might share some from her secretary, who she called her bookmaker, Marion Davis, who wrote in a letter while she was working on The Desire of Ages.
When I think of the many thousands who will read the book, I want just as little human imperfection as possible to mar its divine beauty.
With that in mind, I just want to share this brief clip that came from Elder Gladson. He seemed to be presenting his thought with respect, and I think it's true. People who read these books are converted. They come to understand Jesus, as he told in his testimony, that it was a book by Mead McGuire that called him to his personal relationship with Christ. Enjoy.
Have you recognized that many Adventists' experience coming into Adventism is through some sort of an Adventist book experience, like an Ellen White book experience, or something other than the Bible experience? Have you recognized that to be the case, or is that like a total
yes, that's true.
off thought that doesn't?
Of course, my evidence is only anecdotal, but I've heard of many experiences where people have come into Adventism through reading books. And of course, Adventists have what they call a canvassing ministry, in which individuals sell books, Adventist books, door to door. I did it for 3 summers in my college experience. And some of those books, some of them were by Ellen White, some were by other authors, but they have been instrumental in converting many people.
Yeah,